Good morning!
Hello.
Welcome to The Weekender.
Here we go again.
Hosted from the Gaming Manor House. Somebody says that the set looks a bit like a library, a stuffy library in a manor house. But epic in so many other ways because it's a library of gaming.
Well, that's good because it was supposed to. Success!
Yes, we got there.
And people have been pointing out some of the games that are on here, like Space Crusade and games like that. They want to see a game of them.
One drinking game that I want to try at some point.
Yes, there is a couple of drinking games in there as well. So, no doubt, over the course of the next episodes, we'll go through and dig some of these things out and show you. One thing that I do have that I'm going to show you. This isn't in the running order, so I'm surprising these guys. This is a favourite book of mine that I picked up. It's called The Board Game Book. So let me just put that under there so as you can see. Oops, a daisy. Yeah, The Board Game Book by R.C. Bell.
That would fit under the close cam if you'd told me.
Yep.
As it is, you should just hold it up.
I am just going to hold it up. So what it is it comes in a nice sleeve. It's an old book from... Oh, let me just check and see
It looks as if the spine's busted on it.
No, the spine's not busted. It's just how it looks.
Oxfam, $7.99. That's
Marshall
a bargain.
Cavendish created it in 1979, right? And the reason I want to show you this, guys, is I picked this up in a kind of in a charity shop, okay? And what it is...
You want to show them?
Is a whole series.
Yeah, those are some fugly minis.
Of the history of board games, okay? And there's a board game printed on each page.
So you can
along with the rules of how to play
each game.
So it's board games from all over the world. So all different kinds of...
That looks familiar.
Or Dreadball.
Dreadball, yeah. So this inside is just some more kind of board game kind of foldouts and things like that I have.
That's what made me think the spine was broken because they sort of sit out from it a little bit.
Look at that.
Egyptian?
Isn't that some cool stuff?
It's a bargain.
Yeah.
So, I believe it did only cost me a couple of quid or so because I'm forever hunting around charity shops since I met my other half.
It says here, $7.99, Oxfam.
Yeah, that's probably what it was then. So it's so that there is one of my little pride and joys that sits on the set here. And yeah, when I'm looking for, as well as playing games, we all love playing games, but I do actually like experimenting with games and game mechanics and stuff myself. So I get things like this, and every now and again I go to it and look for a little bit of inspiration.
So is this where, what was it, Conquering Overlord's Cursed Killers came from?
Yes, the mighty Conquering Overlord's Cursed Killers. If you want to find it, it's a game that we put out for free one Christmas.
Two years ago at least.
Every Christmas we try to put out something as a kind of a giveaway. Last Christmas we gave out an epic, awesome 40k mission called the Obsidian Monolith. So if you're playing 40k at the moment and you and a mate want to spend a Saturday and have an awesome Saturday, go and download the Obsidian Monolith mission pack. You'll find it in the 40k hub on Beasts of War.
Or
click back a couple of pages.
Let's just make this really simple for them.
There'll
be 2 links in the description below.
But the year before, I think the year before or the year before that, we created a game and we sent it off to China to have all the rules and stuff made, and it came back and it was called Conquering Overlords Cursed Killers. Yes. And it's fun. It's actually based on Nine Man Morris.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Played that a few times on.
And Nine Man Morris, I believe, is in that book as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's by the by. It's we have a bit of a treasure trove here at Beasts of War. So if ever we do. To be fair, studio tour is probably not really going to happen around Beasts of War because what are we going to do? We're going to bring you to the gaming shed.
It'd be really cool though because we'd stand you in the middle of the room, we'd have a blindfold on you.
Yes.
And then we'd whip it off and then we'd twirl you around and then blindfold you again. And there you go, there's the experience.
We'd get a blindfold on and we'd point you in one direction and go, there you go, look at that, and then put it on and spin you around a few times and then point you another one.
We'll put your head in a box that frames up all the shots for you.
Yes. So you can see exactly how it all works.
I'm almost expecting you to break out the old Nightmare helmet. In fact, you can use that one there.
We could use that one. So
speaking of putting your head in a box.
Oh, not this.
I've been trying to formulate a way of us being able to check our sound levels.
Test
Because if you
mics.
put headphones on and you've got your own time mic on,
Yes.
or other people are sitting in the same room as you, it's really hard to hear it because you can hear them in
It's
real life.
very difficult to test sound levels accurately, is what we've found. You know, especially in a smaller environment where we've managed to kill off most of the reverberation and sound bouncy type stuff.
But it's all right because we have a class idea, and it involves building a soundproof box.
Yeah, that Justin's going to...
No, I'm not
We're going to
doing
put
this.
it. We're going
Lloyd
to
has
put
said
it,
he's
put it
doing
roughly
this.
on this table
Yeah.
at this height. If I put it there, imagine the box is here, Justin, right?
Right,
Right, I'm
okay.
We would
imagining
say
it.
to Justin, Justin, test our audio, please. And
So what would
happen?
you do? No, you can't
No,
lift
no, the box is too heavy because it's full of sand
The box
to
is...
make it dead.
The
So
box
you have to put your head down and into this box.
Yes.
So you demonstrate
Right, well,
that,
here,
Justin.
demonstrate.
I
Let's get that
kind of
over with.
just did because it's head down
Yeah,
and
but-
into the box.
But you didn't put the headphones on. Right,
The headphones are out of reach.
No, the imaginary headphones,
Okay,
Justin.
fine.
So-
Imaginary headphones.
Right,
Head
okay.
down in the box.
Right, now keep the...
I don't see what the hell you're doing.
No, you're not doing it properly. Put the headphones
Fine.
on. No,
Testing. 1, 2.
Wait. The box,
What?
the whole of the box is a little bit tight, so you have to.
You have to
kind
shimmy-
of twist
and
your
your
head. to
head-
shimmy
Well,
Your
that's
it.
just
head-
bad craftsmanship.
needs to
Who
get
made
up
this
right here.
box?
Right. Well, you know what? Just work with it. Just work with it. So get the headphones on.
Fine.
Okay. Your head
head
needs
needs
to
to
come
get to
to
there.
about here. to
Why?
be
Why?
in totally. Okay.
Why?
Now, what would you then say to us then, as if we go through a sound check?
All right. Audio, give it, Warren.
I'm giving it, Justin.
Oh God! Oh God! I swear I do not even think before I speak. Sometimes I should so much.
Wait a minute. So you two,
Warren, give me audio.
bent over
Give
with
me
your
audio.
head in the box, you're gonna go, Warren, give it.
I will punch you in the face.
I think I want to see some minis. Okay, so
I hate myself.
I want to talk about this.
Shiny.
Yes.
Wow.
I have-
When did we get this?
It arrived this week. We have a big box of shinies. It is, of course, the Wild West Exodus starter set. Okay? It's a 2-player starter box for Wild West Exodus. So, Wild West Exodus is a game by Outlaw Miniatures. It ran on Kickstarter, did really well on Kickstarter actually.
Yep.
Around Christmas time we started to show off some of the minis because we got a kind of a package of minis that we were able to have a look through. They look really, really hot. I'm very impressed with the minis. They come in plastic, they come in resin, but one of the things that was kind of always helps when you're trying to get into a game is, of course, a 2-player starter box. Now, this 2-player starter box is no exception because let me tell you what's in it. So in the box is 2 factions. You have the Outlaws versus the Lawmen. Okay?
okay.
Each faction has their kind of bandit hired hands. They have 10 of those. So 10 models each. But it doesn't stop there. With the Outlaws, you have Jesse James as the boss. The underboss is Frank James. You have a bandit heavy weapon, and you have an Iron Horse light support. Now let me show you some of these on the actual pictures. So that there is the Iron Horse light support. The Iron Horses are kind of like hover bikes. How do you describe Wild West Exodus? Like steampunk
It's
meets Wild West. You know,
it's steampunk meets Wild West meets some weird wibbly technology.
Yeah, what
with sciencey bits
they've
added on.
discovered this kind of alternate kind of
Fuel source.
power source, yeah, and it's allowed them to do all sorts of amazing things. So the rest of the stuff you get in the box, you get a mini rule book, always a good thing to have because we like having them even whenever
the
we're getting up in the
A5s.
game. It fits in the pocket. It's got the Wild West Exodus template set, the Wild West Exodus token set, 4 10-sided dice and stack cards for all the models. So
Stop telling me and open it.
let's whip her open here and have a look through.
The one thing I've noticed that you hadn't said there was the boss for the lawman is Wyatt
yes.
Earp himself.
Yeah, for the lawmen, you have the boss is Wyatt Earp, you have the underboss is Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
That's cool. You have another heavy weapon, and you have the Interceptor light support.
Yeah, so it's more of a traditional bike.
So let me just show you these built. I'm going to keep this handy so as I can show you built. That actually is the Outlaw Iron Horse, and that is the Lawman Interceptor. So let me start digging through because I want to have a look at the sprues to see what we're dealing with here.
So lots of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Lots and lots of stuff. Right, so kicking off, we have this sprue here, okay? So this sprue is the sprue for the, let me see, it says on it as well. This is the Lawmen Hired Hands, okay? So on this we have torsos, okay? A number of torsos. We have legs and kind of boot options, and then the various heads here at the bottom. The sprue's great. There's a ton of stuff on it. There are weapon options over on this side, and more arm options, and then another set of head options. So it looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I believe. 10 men on that one sprue.
I love all the straps and stuff that they have going on.
These are going to be a joy to paint. You know, we have to get Roman to do one of these in one of the tutorials, because I want to see how it goes together. One of the community members, Broadside, has been
immortalized.
Yeah, he's been painting some of these.
But was he not immortalized as a
I think he's also immortalized as a miniature as well, but he's done some great painting on these as well. So here we have the Lawmen. Look at those duster coats. That's exactly like the coat I wore to Salute a couple of years back.
Warren, those are not the Lawmen, those are the Outlaws.
Sorry, Outlaws, my apologies. So duster coats. I'll show you the other side. Weapon options. Here we have the legs. And then at the bottom, we have the head options. And the head options are great because there's a number of different kind of looks to the Stetsons, and wearing masks and not wearing masks.
I really like the little sort of stars they have.
I see there's one or two of the arms where you actually see them going down and reaching for the gun, so it'll give your minis a really cool pose.
Yeah. But I like the way they've exaggerated details, like the badges.
Yeah.
So it's got a big star badge, a bit sort of Iron Man-esque. But, it's going to pop on the table and you can quickly see, oh, yep, definitely a Lawman.
Yeah, well,
and the shotguns and stuff on this look great.
Yeah. On the cards, on the front of the cards, we have cards here for all the individual guys. So we have a card for Jesse James, the Interceptor Light Support. Now, I love the fact that they've went for cards, because for me, cards are so much more flexible than codices.
Yes.
Okay. You look at them. One of the issues that we've had over the years with 40k, for example, or Warhammer Fantasy.
Grabbing the book, hunting through for your...
No, it's just a variety of units, and you're looking at it going,
you wait,
what is that?
You wait 6-7 years before you get an
that
update.
as well.
Like some guys have waited nearly 9-10 years for an update. Whereas if it was card based,
yeah, it's just new mini, new card.
New mini, new card. And it means that they can update them all the time.
Yeah.
And this being card based gives Wild West Exodus so much flexibility for.
I like it when you've
wrapping
got
up.
cards though, because you can also put the card down and someone can look at your card and say, well, I know what you're fielding there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, recently we were playing Dust, and I really liked having unit cards. I could quickly see my unit has this.
Yeah, again, the
Your
one I
unit
discovered
has
that
that.
with was War Machine, because you could literally just buy the deck and meta the game before you picked up your minis, so you knew what you were going to grab and field.
Meta the game.
I don't believe in the meta game.
Are you
No.
Are you meta the game?
Yes.
We're in it for the minis, mister. We're in it for the minis.
I'm sorry, but for War Machine, it's seeing how the units interact and being able to have them all just sit into a hand, where you just quickly flick through.
So are you telling me that you would break the cardinal rule and actually play a game of War Machine, where you're just putting your cards on the table and moving your cards about?
I read the rules and I see how they interact with each other.
Right. You don't need a card for that. You could do that online.
How?
By reading off the screen.
I don't think you're getting what I'm saying.
I'm not getting what you're saying.
Right, shall we move on?
No,
Well, we go
I
back
want to
to
understand, what is metaing the game with the cards? To me, that sounded like you have the cards.
Basically,
you were getting the deck of cards, but you weren't buying the models. What you're doing was creating an army and then just using the cards as proxies
No.
on the table. No?
No.
No,
I
what
was
it means
getting
is
it.
you can just whip out the cards and go, da-da-da-da-da, I know what's going to happen.
yeah, I know how this will interact with this. This is something I want to try, so now I'm going to go out and actually get that mini and play it out.
Yeah, but a codex would allow you to do exactly the same thing.
Again, it's what I prefer with the cards because it's lighter and handier.
Are we going to come to consensus here?
Yeah,
Do we like unit cards?
Yes.
Love unit cards for different reasons, but we love unit cards.
I like them.
Okay, I want to show you the Bandit Heavy Weapon. So in here we have the card. Now we're going to start playing this game over the next week or two.
What is the Bandit Heavy
We
Weapon?
have some.
It's a sniper rifle?
It's a guy with a sniper rifle standing on a box. In fact, if you pass me up the box, I can show you exactly what he looks like. There he is there. So, the Bandit Heavy Weapon. Okay? And here is the actual sprue itself.
That's cool.
So, I think it's very cool. And it's in hard plastic as well. So, any of you guys that enjoy your working with plastics are going to have no problem with that. The bases themselves are they're kind of funky actually. They have a little old-fashioned feel to them.
They have a Western look to them,
They
don't
do have
they?
a Western look to them. They're like a little
Western poker chip thing or something.
it's like the base of a chess piece almost, isn't it? I think it's nice and it adds something I think to the overall aesthetic of the game. Opening up this one. Yeah, as I said, we're going to be playing the game now over the next couple of weeks. If you're interested in trying it out and you want to find a good source of terrain, check out a video that we did around Christmas time where we showed off the MicroArt Studio terrain for Wild West
that
Exodus.
was actually our Christmas show. We did that on.
The great thing about it is this game is a slightly different scale from what many of you be used to. It's 35 mil, okay? Which means that the terrain, your 28 mil terrain is going to possibly look a little bit small for these guys. Just a little bit small. But MicroArt Studio do a range of Western buildings that are all kind of Wild West X-ified up. So they've got neon signs.
Yeah, so all the sciencey bits bolted on.
But they do them, and they are scaled exactly to 35 mil. Here we have the Deputy Heavy Weapon, and there is his sprue. He's carrying a kind of it's like a pump action multi-barrel shotgun.
Four-barrel shotgun is what it's called. It's on the card.
4-barreled.
Okay, so just move him out of the way.
I got to check this guy out. Who was this?
This guy here down the bottom.
Oh yes, 4-barreled shotgun.
So it's essentially a big-ass shotgun.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, we're starting to get into what some of my favorite pieces.
So we're on to the resin now.
Yeah, this is the resin. Now the resin from these guys, I have found to be beautiful. I think it's great. Let me open this one up to show you.
Jesse James.
This is Jesse James himself. So let me show you the actual components.
Don't lose his arm.
Nope, there's his arm there. So there's Jesse James. Let me show you the other side. Oops, a daisy. As you can see there, you're going to have no problem getting the stuff off the actual sprue. Now, all these lovely folds and stuff like that in the coat are going to work so well with washes. You know, if you
wash and a touch of dry brush.
I think basically you're priming a lot of these kind of like a leathery brown, and then applying a sepia brown kind of wash, one of the soft tone washes to it. It's just going to blend in so nicely.
Would it not be better to paint it sort of a tanny colour and then do the brown wash? I don't think brown on brown's gonna.
Either way, the wash is good enough at actually providing shading over the top of a brown. If you go with the tan and then put a brown on it, you know that'll work just as well. It all depends on how dark you would like the finished result to be.
Although I have seen if you go for a really light one and then put on a dark wash, it can just look dirty.
Check out even the tread on his shoe.
Yep, there's even a tread
Is there
to
even
the shoe.
a tread on the shoe? There is too, yeah. Okay, Justin, who's this that we've got?
Oh, let's see his face.
Let's try and identify that one.
I would say this is either Doc Holliday or the other James.
So let's see, it's what is the weapon option there?
I think I'm looking at the head, there's a little star on it.
Yeah, it's Doc Holliday, it is exactly Doc Holliday. So here we have Doc Holliday. Again, there's so many details here, right down to the necktie,
Yeah, so all those little touches that you're going to want to pick out.
And all these beautiful folds. It's stuff like that. The more detail you have on a miniature, there is right. How am I going to put this? Right. If you have the right amount of a detail on a miniature, the miniature will almost paint itself using the likes of washes, etc.
Well, as long as you keep your lines and stuff clean, yeah.
There is a limit, though. There is a limit to the point of details where they become so minute that one layer of paint or one layer of primer is just going to kill it. But I don't think that's the case. I think I'd be very, very careful how I would prime some of these, because I'd want to keep as much detail as possible. So if you could use the primer as lightly as possible.
So just dust it.
I love it. I mean, check out the gun belt on this guy.
Yeah.
Right, now check out the double holstered pistols at the front.
Yeah, just in the low sort of underarm strap.
One of the things this game has going for it, it has a lot of cool, doesn't it?
It has a lot of cool and
It
a lot
has
of
a
character.
lot of
It is,
cool.
it's just got something, doesn't it?
Well, no, here's something for you to look at now. You see, even on his boots, there's a bit of scroll work worked into the actual folds. So it comes up from those folds, which is very cool.
Okay, so this character here is Wyatt Earp. Just want to make sure I get this right. Now, Wyatt Earp is one of the lawmen, and here he's this awesome shield on his back. So there he is with all his components.
This is kind of making me want to go out and watch Tombstone again.
Do you know what? Absolutely. Look at the detailing around the bottom of that coat. You know, it's just.
Yeah, just
it's
that
just great.
Frayed edge or
Absolutely great. No, it's a kind of it's kind of like cut leather with little studs in them.
Oh, very cool.
It's really, really nice. Again, the big caches and stuff like that you come to expect off the Western minis. Really nice. I love that one. Right, down to my favorites, because I adore the vehicles in this game. They have big trains, they have all sorts of cool vehicles on the way, but the iron horses, come on, they are so cool. Just
motorbikes in the Wild West.
What are we looking at?
so this one here is called the Interceptor, I believe. So it's
the Outlaw one.
It's here.
Nope.
no,
it's not
that's
that
it.
one.
This one is the Iron Horse. So this is the Iron Horse here. Okay.
So it's like the jetbike one, whereas the Interceptor is more traditional.
Just look at that. Absolutely.
The Interceptor looks
stonkingly good.
a little bit. Oh, we'll see.
Here
when
we
get
have
there.
the rider. Now look at that. Look at the detail on this component here, which is the kind of the skull, the
little trophy head.
the cow skull that's on it. I think that's just superb. And then here we have ammo feeds and weapons
And the skids.
and the skids.
What skids?
For the bottom of it, it's got two skids
Oh,
on it.
It's
yeah.
got two kind of skids that go on, kind of in there.
We should probably put this under the camera so people can see it.
If it's once it's built, it looks
Oh, you need to get
like
much lower.
that.
So think Wile E. Coyote sitting on an Acme rocket with two skids beneath it.
Fantastic stuff. Absolutely awesome.
I take it that flies, sort of.
Yeah, it's a hover bike. So,
And then the skids are just for landings.
okay. So I just, to save us from getting some stuff mixed up, Justin, you could start to pack some of those bits and pieces
Yeah, if you give
away.
me some of the
There's
the
some
extra bags.
Of course I drop bits, but what's new for me dropping models?
So it's Doc Holiday away.
Okay, and the final miniature is this one here, which is the Interceptor. Let's get that one out. Oh, look at this.
This
Right,
is
this one-
This is the one I like.
Yeah, this one doesn't hover. This one has wheels. But
It's a bit like the Batman tumbler.
yeah,
Isn't it the tumbler? The motorbike.
Yes.
I just had to snap that off a little bit there. But, you know, where do you see this
It
here?
reminds
Just-
me of a sci-fi show I
look
saw a
at
couple of
that.
years back called
Tron.
Priest. No, Priest. It was sort of like a post-apocalyptica thing. You know, vampire
It's
movie,
just-
which was cool. But it's stonkingly good.
It is bloody awesome. I also love the fact that they did knock up a scale or two.
Yeah.
You know, to go to 35mm, because it gave them a bit more surface area to play with regarding putting in options and stuff. There's the weapons. I'll move that out of the way. There's the weapon options and the rest of the pilot, which fits onto the legs there. So there's the torso there. Good stuff. Really, really good quality resin too. I have no issues whatsoever with that resin. It's going together nice and tight. It needs a wee bit of cleaning, but
Everything does.
everything does these days. You know, especially a resin piece. So lovely. Right, what else have we got in there? Big bag of bases. I've already showed you the bases. They have this kind of cool, kind of tapered effect that gives them that old-fashioned look.
I see they've kind of westernized the dice too.
Even the dice have a kind of a little bit of a Western feel. The key to any dice is how do they roll. But I don't have any lasers to charge them. 5, 6, 5, 2. You want them rolling 9s, boy. And then
But
here we
each
have
system-
the token set. So the token set is plastic as well. Okay, so
That's calling out to be painted.
yes.
Yeah, what I like is to start with, they've used a coloured plastic instead of just the normal grey that you see.
Yeah, and I would basically,
Wash it.
I'd really wash it. Yeah, I just put a wash on
and
it.
then, and
you
then
know what?
seal it with something.
Yeah.
Model Mates weathering sprays.
Model Mates weathering sprays would
Perfect
work
for that.
really well on that. You get your templates. So there's a few different templates in here for you to see. You have your blast and flame templates, and then there are templates here with some of the standard measurements of the 1 inch, 4 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. So.
It's nice that the template is this style. Normally you have to buy templates in this style, you know, from external sources.
And there's your halves. So your half inch, 3.5, 1.5, 2.5. And then finally, of course, the mini rulebook. And in the rulebook, how many pages are we looking at? We're looking at 63 pages. It's got scenarios in there. It's got the weapon stats for all the different weapons. It's got all the rules for how you spend your. You've got action points and actions, so you can do things like climb, go prone, get up, aim, go on the lookout. It tells you all about how to shoot and everything, but never worry about that. We're going to probably do a how to play on this game anyway.
I love that map finish.
So that is out now, and it should be in a friendly local gaming store either now or at least very soon. And if it's not and you fancy it, head on down to your FLGS and tell them that this Wild West Exodus stuff is looking very, very fine indeed. I'm a big fan. Okay, we're going to take a short break. After the break, we're going to be talking a little bit about some cool Kickstarters that are going and just about to launch. So this weekend sees the launch of Dreadball Extreme.
So this is their Season 3 set.
Yeah, this is Season 3. This is basically, if you'd watched the trailer, it was Dreadball's awesome, and it is, because I've had a whale of a time with Dreadball. How awesome will it be with no ref and no rules?
I expect to see many goblins with broken necks.
Yeah, I'm wondering how you play a game that doesn't have any rules.
Exactly, I was
Well, we
going to
just
say.
chuck them at each other, do we?
Well, I assume there's still the mechanics, but no files.
No, what they've left is they've got rid of the ref, they've got rid of the rules, and all they have is the awesomeness.
So what, just a little James in a box?
That would be awesome, a little James in a box.
Yeah, but that'll be GW's going to release that. Anyway.
No, that's where James is going to go. You're going to go into the box.
Oh,
Get
you're
in that
going
box
in
and
the
write
box.
us rules.
So anyway, it's Dreadball Extreme is out. Now Dreadball Extreme takes Dreadball into the back streets. So basically Dreadball has been played in all these fancy stadiums all around
Yes.
the inner worlds of the
This
corporation.
is down and dirty street dreadball.
This is right down in the hives in the back streets where they're filing. There's going to be miniatures die and stuff like that. I'm really excited by it, and I can't wait to see how the whole thing pans out.
I want to see if there's a gambling mechanic to this. Because if you're down in the back streets,
That's
might
a
have-
very good idea.
There might be something,
Yeah.
betting on your team or betting against your team.
That's
be
a
fun.
really good idea, actually. That gambling mechanic would work quite well from the point of view of building up the funds to buy new players.
Exactly.
Building up the funds to buy new coaches or to encourage new coaches and stuff
Yeah.
in. Well, would they even have a coach? They probably wouldn't have a coach, would they?
You might have a gang leader.
You might have a gang
They'll
leader,
have a
yeah.
spaceship.
A spaceship.
Yep.
Spaceship.
Who's
I
going to
think-
ride around on a coach when you've got a spaceship?
Yeah, right. Right, so hang on. You're saying you're gambling to put Go Faster stripes on your crappy little banger?
Yeah. This is my ship.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you know, right? Whenever I first started to play Dreadball, I thought to myself, this would make an awesome real-world game. Okay?
Right.
And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if you had a real-life Dreadball stadiums? Because there was nothing in it that relied on sci-fi physics, okay? Because you were just grabbing the ball and putting the ball down a hole and stuff like that, or
Well-
putting it through a hoop.
The idea that the ball moved at such high speeds that you need a specialised gauntlet to throw it, and the fact that you had a holographic net, maybe.
They have that. Sure, what's that game
Yeah.
called where they've got this big hooky thing?
It's lacrosse, isn't
Yeah.
it, or something? Yeah, but you could replicate all of it at a slower speed. Okay, so it's not played at Mach 1 or whatever, but it is played. And I just thought that would be awesome. And then I thought to myself, especially with Dreadball Ultimate, where we had the three-way game.
Yeah, the three
if you
arms.
want to see that, go and check a demo game. Myself, Justin,
below.
and James played with that.
Yeah, and I got to screw you over.
Yes. Then I discovered three-way football or
What,
soccer.
real
for our-
life?
Real life three-way soccer.
Okay, how in the hell does that work?
You have three goals,
Right,
3 teams,
right.
and the winner isn't the team that scored the most goals. It's the team that let the least number of goals in.
Right.
Now think about the dynamic change there for a second. So it's not all about going out and scoring goals.
That's the look I'm looking for.
No, No, it's just that idea of the game becomes so much more defensive instead of all the attacking.
Yes,
you have
but-
the attacking aspect.
But what it also means is if one team puts it past you,
You gotta go score.
okay, you find teams ganging up and playing together to try and put some goals past the team that has no goals.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So and alliances start to fade and change and stuff
yeah,
like that
so
there.
it changes the tactics of the game instead of just being button heads one against the other. There's
Yeah.
an ebb and flow to it.
I thought it was fantastic, So, and it is a proper league that's been playing. And do you want to know how long ago it was invented? Have a guess.
Last
20
summer.
years.
20 years. I think it was 60 years.
What? 60
At
years?
least 60 years. It was how long ago it was invented. Three-way soccer.
It mustn't be
How
very
cool
good.
is that?
Hasn't caught on. 60 years?
Well, the infrastructure required. That's probably why the likes of Dreadball, it'll be a while before something like that will come out. Because think of the costs of the stadiums. Most stadiums are set up to have 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
You have to have double that square footage in order
Yeah.
to enable a three-way match.
Well,
or
if you
something
think
like
something
that.
along the lines of a baseball diamond sort of shape is what you would sort of need.
Yeah. On the subject of big play spaces, if you haven't seen it yet, go and check out Slaughter Ball on Kickstarter. It's another sports game. This one as well looks awesome. One-piece minis, which is a cool thing. So you get it. The box looks amazing. It looks like really high-quality stuff. And what I've seen so far there is they have this big, I believe they have a hexagon with 6 kind of areas that you can come into play, and I believe they have an octagon as well, so up to 8 players.
Cool.
I don't know very much about the rules and stuff just yet, but I believe that there are demo rules and stuff up on the site for people to download, or up on Kickstarter for people to download and have a look at. So, well worth checking a look. And I'm going to be spending a little bit of time this week just hovering over there because I really liked the whole visual dynamic of the game. I
So
thought it
you're
looked quite
just
nice.
going to be watching this one to see.
I'm going to be watching this one carefully, see what happens. So
You just made a new term up. Checking a look.
I'm going to be checking a look. Yeah, checking a look.
Right.
And then finally, one of the ones I want to draw your attention to is I got to sit down with Chris Birch from Modifius. Now, my Modifius have a Kickstarter on at the moment for Mutant Chronicles, for the role-playing game of Mutant Chronicles. Now, Mutant Chronicles is where Warzone, it's all part of the Warzone universe, okay? And Mutant Chronicles is an epic timeline. It's almost like there's almost like two massive timelines in Mutant Chronicles, and with that Kickstarter, they've already busted their target, and they're knocking down stretch goals all over the place.
Yeah, and they've already shown their pedigree with the Acton Cthulhu stuff.
With the Acton Cthulhu stuff, and we have some
brilliant.
more to show you on Acton Cthulhu in a future episode of the Weekender. But they're redoing the entire RPG systems. I think every book is getting redone.
Nice.
It's all being brought up to speed. It's all being brought up to kind of today, the quality that we expect today. There's some epic stuff going on, and there's an entire range of minis being produced for it by the guys at Protos, who did the Warzone miniatures game. Anyway, enough of that. Here's what Chris had to say. I've managed to catch up with Chris Birch of Modifius. Chris, you have a Kickstarter underway.
We do. Mutant Chronicles.
Yep.
It's back.
It is back. It's back in a big way. There was the miniatures game of Warzone.
Yeah.
This is now the RPG.
That's right, yes.
First things first, for anybody that hasn't had the experience of Mutant Chronicles, can you give us a kind of a flavour of the background of that universe?
It's basically set in the 25th century. You've got four major corporations that own you. Basically, you've got Imperial, Capital, Mishima, Bauhaus, and then Cybertronic, another corporation that joins in. And it's set across the solar system. It's pulpy, larger than life, giant shoulder pads, massive guns, and throw into that mix an alien invasion, which starts with this sort of investigative Cthulhu-style weird cults emerging, which are kind of sowing the seeds for the invasion, and then these giant citadels crash down into the planets and outpour the legions of the Dark Legion.
Yeah.
And it turns into this enormous war for the sort of future of humanity. And you've got two timelines. The 25th century and about the 26th century. The 25th century and about the 30th century is about 500-600 years difference.
Yeah.
And it's you go from this sort of kind of current level of tech down to 1950s, because they have to ditch all the computer systems, because they're literally growing tentacles, they're seducing you, they're turning on you, they're firing the defense guns at you. So the AIs are totally corrupted by this thing called the dark symmetry.
Yeah.
And mankind has to basically tear out all the computer systems out of their technology. So
Pull the plug.
It's kind of diesel punk, basically.
Yeah.
You go back to this sort of, imagine like massive American trucks, and engines are bigger than they need to be, and laptops are enormous, and everything's got replaceable parts, and so it becomes this very sort of bulky, chunky style of diesel punk tech and fashion and everything, and it's really cool. It's a great universe.
What are your plans for the role-playing game?
Well, we're pretty much bringing back all the books that in the 90s there was an enormous range. I mean, there was board games and the Doom Trooper card game and comics and video games, and there was even a movie more recently and stuff. An enormous amount of stuff. And there was a huge range of books. We've got some of the examples here. This is like there's four big apostles that lead the Dark Legion forces. So this is like the Algaroth book. So we're going to be recreating all of these books. And the artwork was by Paul Bono, who's like amazing Swedish artist that, we're reusing a lot of the classic art. We're creating some really stunning new artwork as well. So we're funding all these books again, but new rule system, that all the content's being rewritten, is being fleshed out. It was this fantastic...
So it's not an exact reprint of these books.
No, exactly.
It's these books reimagined in a new way.
Yeah. There was an enormous kind of 1,000-year-long storyline, but there was a lot of gaps. So we filled in all the gaps. We know all the secrets. We're going to be unveiling them through all the books. They never really made... There was like 3 adventure books, so we're doing 3 big campaigns that take you through the whole story. We're putting in a lot more information about this evil force called the Dark Legion. There's how different each of the aspects of this the sort of alien forces, and just bringing out a lot more of the exciting detail. It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
It's very in your face, and everything's larger than life. So we're really kind of pumping that up through the story.
Is there a bit of a reboot element to it as well? Are you going to try and bring it into a bit more of today's kind of tastes and play
Yeah, there
styles
is.
and
Yeah, I
things?
mean, we're obviously drawing in some of the sort of how technology is affecting things. So AIs are very important at the beginning of the story, and you don't necessarily have a phone.
Yeah.
Because when the phone system knows where you are, you don't ever need a phone. It just talks to you.
Yeah.
But if you can imagine what happens when they've had to abandon Earth because of all this sort of big backstory very fast. They've had to terraform the planets. It's the 25th century. They've kind of just about got back to having dance music and cocktails and and sort of cool tech, but they haven't quite got back to like iPhones and the kind of really advanced stuff. And then what happens is this sort of dark symmetry virus is unleashed through an expedition to Pluto, and basically over the next 20-30 years technology collapses. This group called the Brotherhood rise up, who are kind of a religious group who say, look, we've got to destroy the computers, they're the source of the evil, and then you get the Dark Legion invasion. And meanwhile the corporations like Capital and Imperial and Bauhaus, they're all like at each other's necks fighting each other because they all want each other's territory. You get the one Dark Legion invasion on Mars, and then one group attacks the other group's attack force who are trying to take out the Dark Legion because they think, well, that will screw them over and we'll get their territory. It's messed up. And then meanwhile, you've got sort of freedom fighters who think they're good guys, but maybe they're bad guys. You've got heretics, people being lured to the dark side by the Dark Symmetry Force. And they think maybe they're just sort of fighting against the corporations, but they're actually fighting for the Dark Legion. So there's a lot of grey sort of space between the good and the bad for characters to really play some really interesting sort of storylines.
It's a self-contained role-playing game, isn't it?
Yeah,
All the rules, everything you need is
it was it was a D20 rule system. It was very combat heavy. It was very about fighting combat scenes, and there wasn't rules for spaceships, for example.
Yeah.
So we've basically created a new cinematic D20 based system that is it uses 8 stats. Originally it was 6, so we've added 2 new ones. It's a roll under system. We've not reinvented the wheel. We're not trying to say this is the ultimate role-playing game that you'll never play anything again. It's a good system with solid mechanics. The probabilities have all been sorted. We've got an amazing expert who's made sure that it's not broken. And the idea is that you can crash land in your gunship in front of 1,000 necromutants, and the GM doesn't go, oh my god, how am I going to play this? So you can actually have a really fun game, and you can still be playing at 2 in the morning and it's your 10th encounter and you're still using the same rules. You're not bored of which bit do I have to use. It's very easy to play, but it's got a lot of depth. So
what about miniatures or floor tiles or things like that?
Prodos, who did the Warzone miniatures game, we've already unveiled the Heretics, 3 of the Heretics miniatures, so there's going to be lots of sets of miniatures at £15 each, so you might get 3 Bauhaus heroes, and so they're already working on all the faction sets, and then we're going to be unlocking new creatures, civilian adventurers, special possessed, Dark Symmetry possessed, a TV walking on tentacles and all kinds of cool stuff. We're also, the Heretics are the sort of, can be bad guys, or you could play a heretic who's kind of a bit too close to the dark side. So we've got a lot of miniatures that are coming through as resin, 1 to 3 piece sets. We're going to be doing some floor tiles with a big name in the industry who's very well known for floor tiles. So we're going to be doing a whole range of miniatures based around the lunar city, which is the big kickoff point for a lot of the adventures. It's a massive series of domed cities, a bit like a cancer spreading across Luna, that's been there for hundreds of years. And we're also doing an enormous, if you can imagine how big a flag is, that you hang from a building. So we're printing the map of Luna on a giant flag that you're going to have on your gaming table. So you're just going to be able to pour over the map and go, okay, we're here, we need to go over there. So it's really going to bring the Mutant Chronicles world to your tabletop. And if you're really crazy, you can get a life-size shoulder pad with your choice of a corporate logo painted on it as well.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
there's some great stuff coming through. There's going to be, we've got all sorts of plans. There's all sorts of extra books. We're doing card decks that help you play the game and quickly help the GM. With NPCs and villains. The stats for villains are super simple. So that we just designed the system to make it easy for a GM when he's coming up with an adventure. It'd be very easy for him to create creatures on the fly, or write them down very simply. The cards are going to help him. They're optional. They're going to help him create scenes very quickly. We have this thing called the Dark Symmetry Pool, and the Dark Symmetry Pool is I use a glass bowl because when you throw dice in it, everyone can see and hear it. And it's basically a growing pool of cinematic dice that is fed by the players failing dice rolls, by rolling 20s, by wanting to reduce the difficulty. And in this game, it's cinematic, right? So you can do anything. But so you might do something that's so complex that it's 5 levels of difficulty, but you can buy that down to 1 level by paying 4 symmetry dice into the pool. And so everyone's going, oh God, because this pool is growing and growing and growing. And the GM spends those dice to do cool stuff. He spends them to corrupt your equipment. He spends them to activate his NPCs anytime he wants.
So the more awesome stuff you do, if you try to do it easily, you're empowering the GM to
and
do
in a
other
way,
cool stuff.
And it actually involves the GM in a fun way, more so in the game, and it also helps structure what you can and can't do. So you can activate your minion squads, you can activate your NPCs and villains, you can change the environment. You can suddenly have bursts of steam explode from vents around you, which makes everything in that scene difficult, one level of difficulty more. So you've got it's kind of it was inspired by things like the Doom pool in Marvel Heroic, by a lot of ideas in other games, and it was really much about bringing the drama to the table so that the players can see the growing doom in front of them, and it's brilliant, and it's just worked really well in playtests, and it also helps teach new GMs how to GM effectively as well. And we've got a lot of guidance. We have this Dark Symmetry deck that you draw a card and you go, I want to do something weird to the players. You draw a card and it goes, and it will give you a whole bunch of spends. Spend 2 dice to have a strange shadow appear in the corner. Cool, I'm going to use that.
So there's a built-in kind of like a prompt system to help him do the
and you don't have to use it, because a lot of us, it's like a lot of people don't like campaigns. I'm going to write my own adventures, but a lot of people kind of need that extra help with storyline and stuff. So we're giving that in all these cool
So whether
extras.
you're completely, whether you're an expert GM or new to role playing, you're building this to facilitate that.
And it's actually going to be the core of all our Modifius in-house systems. So we've got some very exciting new games that we have.
As you learn to use this, you're going to be able to explore other worlds.
And the core book is a big 400-page, which we should be unlocking any moment. We've already unlocked 298 pages of it in beautiful hardcover. So we're just about to unlock another 100 pages, and that is going to be this 400-page gorgeous guide to the Mutant Chronicles universe that covers about 1,000 years of history, all the Dark Legion, all the corporations, how to play all the different characters. We've got this wonderful life path character system. So you can either buy the character you want, just put it in, buy the points, or you can go, let's leave it to the hand of fate. And you roll your way through. You roll to get into, you choose a corporation that you want to be part of, maybe, and then you roll to get into different types of jobs that you might fail. So then you get down into a not so great job. You might get kicked out, and there's all sorts of random events. I was a big fan of the whole Traveller character creation system when I was a kid, and I love the fact that I could die as I made my character. We're not going to quite have that, but we are going to have some really twisted stuff that happens to you that makes you a much more interesting character if you're willing to go that far. So the more careers you take, obviously the more experience you get, the more skills you're going to get, the more talents you're going to get, but the more risk of crazy stuff happening to you in the Mutant Chronicles universe is insane. It's like Brazil meets 1984 meets Warhammer meets it's like full of sort of mad corporations who are just pummeling you into the ground.
Yeah.
And the poor little workers are trying to fight their way up. You've got corporate execs who are like riding massive, enormous American-style fast cars down the freeways of Luna. Everyone's got enormous guns and these cool shoulder pads. It's an insane world. And so as you create your character through this, you're going to get a whole flavour of this mad world that you live in.
Yeah.
And but all sorts of stuff can happen to you, and you're going to come out at the other end with this really awesome character.
Yeah.
But the more you improve your character, the less of what we call chronicle points you're going to have. And the chronicle points, it's a bit like, do you want to be Luke Skywalker fresh out of farm school, who's quite good at piloting a ship, and he's got a heck of a lot of force or luck?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be Han Solo, who's skilled up to the nines, but he's not quite got as much luck as he used to? So, and these chronicle points let you do the really big cinematic stuff. So when you say, I want to go running down that corridor shooting at this Izogul, which are these giant horse-like creatures with massive arms and a blade that screams as it swings it, and giant horns. So I want to go running down the corridor, and I'm going to shoot at him, and at the last minute I'm going to slide on my back underneath him and cut him open with my sword. That's when you pay a chronicle point.
Yeah.
Because it's so insanely difficult, but you get to do it. So so that's the kind of fun we're going to be bringing to the tabletop, and all the accessories, all the miniatures, all the maps, all these giant, the giant flag map is going to help you bring this larger than life world to the table.
For anybody out there that's getting ready to hop onto the Kickstarter now, when roughly can they expect all this stuff to come to fruition and be in their
So
hands?
we finish on March the 9th. That's the big day. And then we are aiming to deliver in August. My goal is to have the books available for people to pick up at Gen Con if they haven't been shipped to them already. So that's the aim. And then there will be 2 levels of shipping. There's our first core book and the first campaign, and then we're going to have a second level, which is all these guidebooks that are being funded. And we've got a great team of writers that are focused on each of the books, fantastic new artists coming through that we're slowly unveiling through the month. And if we do as well as Acting Cthulhu, which we sort of we're funding faster than Acting Cthulhu last year, so I'm very confident we're going to fund a very big range of books. So it's going to be insane value for people who go for the PDF.
And then there's things like this.
Yeah, well, this is a great example. So this is the Cartel artifact bag, and the Cartel is an organisation that actually has been around for quite a long time, but it's this sort of commercial sort of meeting point for all the big corporations. But when the Brotherhood rises, they turn it into a military force because they realise that humanity needs a unified front against this Dark Legion. And so the Cartel has a whole load of troops pulled from all the different forces, and this is going to be a Cartel artifact bag that you're going to need when you store or capture Dark Legion artifacts on the battlefield. So it'll have the Cartel badge on it, which is the symbol of the big sort of unified group that has brought together all the armed forces for the corporations. And this is a kind of the Cartel artifact bag, which you must store Dark Legion artifacts that you've recovered in your missions. And it's going to have this sort of cool instructions on the back. Now, I went after this bag. I came out of the fashion industry, and I think having really good quality stuff is really important. And it's not just about good quality books. This is a seriously high quality bag from a proper fashion factory, and I chose it because it felt perfect for the Mutant Chronicles diesel punk type of universe. And I managed to fit in the entire collection of Mutant Chronicles books. My old Star Blazer Adventures 600-page book, a laptop, some card decks. So this is for the crazy professor collector who literally wants their entire role-playing collection in one bag. And it's beautiful. It's got leather finishing. It's got this distressed feel, so it feels like it's from this diesel punk future. It's got lots of sort of internal pockets and zips and stuff to hold your keys. So we've got this as a special an add-on that's like £80, or if you buy it with the collector's edition, which is £100, beautiful faux leather cover book, then you get it a bit cheaper. You get like £20 off. So we've done a really good deal on this, and it's a stunning bag. Which I mean, it's just like the Acting Cthulhu collectors investigators bag that everyone's been raving about. It's stunning. People have just been receiving those.
Awesome.
last few weeks.
Well, guys, if you're interested, go and check out the Mutant Chronicles role-playing game Kickstarter. It looks like it's going to be massive. Chris, thanks for
Thanks a
joining
lot.
us.
No problem.
And welcome back. Right. Fit Club.
Uh-oh.
So, last week, I weighed in to Fit Club.
Finally.
Yes, finally.
We've only been waiting months.
I weighed in at 119.8 kilos.
Just before we go, this is my favourite part of the show.
Really?
This is make fun of your brother part of the show.
Well, you see, I can bring
it
something
shouldn't be
up.
called
but
Fit Club.
let's
It
get
should
through
be
this first.
Make fun of your brother moment.
There's something I did earlier to warrant at lunchtime,
Yeah.
just to be a bit of a get.
Justin said, "Oh, I'm going to have a working lunch."
Yeah.
And I said,
Me too.
Me too. I'm eating organic, gluten-free puffed rice."
Yeah.
And Justin says, "Oh, I'm eating a sausage with bacon and egg and a big bat." And I'm like, you?
Yeah. And that was just what we said. We going, yep, I'm happy.
Yeah. It's right. Week one I'm in. I've weighed myself and I've discovered that the challenge is over. It's done. I've completed it.
Is
Right.
it really?
yeah.
How do you figure that?
Are you sure?
Because today I weighed myself
Right.
naked. Oh yeah,
Where?
naked,
What?
baby.
In the buff?
Completely in the buff. All
That's a mental image I really don't need, guys.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
hanging out. And I rocked in at 113.7 kilos. That means I've lost at least 5 kilos. And my objective at the start was to lose 5 kilos. So
Stone.
What, you think Fit Club's over?
Fit Club's over. 5
No,
kilos lost.
Like, stone. Not kilos, stone.
I'm going to have to keep this thing up, aren't I?
Yes.
Hold on a minute. How can you have lost 5 kilos in 1 week?
Because last week when I weighed myself stupidly with my clothes on. And I was reading up on all of this. Yeah, how I wore 10 kilos worth of clothes, I don't know.
5 kilos.
Did you wear your shoes?
I'm not sure if I wore my shoes or not. But
Were you wearing a jacket with 2 bricks in the pocket?
No, I wasn't.
Did you take all the Mars bars out of your pocket?
Were you perhaps holding baby Manny at the time?
No, I wasn't holding baby Manny at the time.
He's standing there with
and
a
you don't
burger.
hold baby Manny like this anymore. He's grown. You hold
Had
baby
you-
Manny like that
Had you
now.
been to McDonald's and were standing there and go, that's quite surprising.
Well, with a supersized Diet Coke?
Right. So, I've been reading up and progressing. I have joined a website called myfitnesspal.com.
Okay.
You're cheating on these people. You're supposed to do it together.
No, we are doing it together.
He's sharing it.
What myfitnesspal.com does is allows me to enter in what I eat, and it gives me a running total of the calories that I've ingested.
Right.
So at the start, it said, what's your goal? I said, well, I want to lose weight. You know, how
surprising
how quickly do you want to lose weight, and how much weight do you want to lose? So I put in, I wanted to lose something like, I think I want to be about 75 kilos is my end target, okay? So I have about 30 to 40 kilos that I need to lose, okay? What weight are you actually?
I told you last week I'm 69.
Oh yeah, you're 60. Yeah,
kilos.
you're 69.
Ridiculously light is the
Right.
answer.
Yeah, somehow since I left school, I'm 4 years behind a desk.
You're a bit heavier now because you're wearing a bullet around your neck.
Yes.
I
Gift from my
have.
mother. Be
I
quiet.
have been almost 75 kilos in the past. I mean, not in childhood, obviously, but as an adult, there was a point where I was almost 75 kilos. So I've put it in, and it responded to me how many calories I'm allowed to eat in a day, and continue and lose weight at a
reasonable rate.
about a kilo a week.
Right.
I believe.
Was that a bag of sugar?
It's about
Pretty
about a
much,
bag
it
of
would
sugar.
be.
Yeah, it's a bag of. I think it's
Yeah,
a bag of
it's a bag
sugar.
of sugar.
I
So
don't think that's maybe over ambitious. A bag of sugar a week.
I don't know. I'm just trying it to see what happens. Here's there's been advice coming in, and sometimes it's difficult to sort through all the advice. But the core piece of advice I got from everybody is if you want to lose weight, sort your eating out, because you can do all the exercise you want, okay? but if you don't work out your eating, you're not going to lose weight.
See, this is why I love my freakish metabolism.
Yeah, right.
You know, the first step to sorting your eating out is regimenting your eating. That you're eating regular and you're eating at predictable times, so your body gets hungry at the same times during the day, each day, and you're not getting caught out.
Yes, and your body knows
That's
there's nutrients coming out.
the other main issue, and this is the issue that I have discovered. I've discovered a couple of issues. One is, man, I craved bread. See those first 2 days? Oh, I was craving bread so much. Like, I was eating vegetables and stuff like that there, but I wasn't feeling full. I was still craving bread.
Yeah.
The craving for bread has wore off, because today I had some pan-fried whiting, some fish with some veg, and I actually margarined up a couple of slices of bread with it. And I thought to myself, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, but it's fish and veg go nice with bread. So I went up and I ate it. But what I did was I ate the fish and I ate the vegetables first. And I actually then didn't crave the bread, so I went down and gave the bread to the kiddies and let them have a sandwich instead. So that craving. The other thing is portion control, right? Because I've been watching my eating going through the day. So in the mornings, I'll maybe have 200 or 300 calories of stuff in the morning. So I have a coffee or a decaf or something to, just while we're sitting talking about what we're going to be doing for the day, or
We have to
what's
count
happening.
coffee.
I count everything. I then would have bananas or fruit, and then I was told don't be going too heavy on the fruit because it's full of sugars, which means that it'll crash you basically and make you very hungry later on. So I've been supplementing the fruit. I would have a banana, but I would supplement it a little bit later in the morning with a bowl of these organic, gluten-free puffed rice things, which I found, although they were bland and it was a bit like cardboard, I'm actually really enjoying them now, and I think that they're a lovely breakfast.
You wouldn't
in
just
itself.
drop a little bit of jam or something into it to make it
No,
that flavour?
I don't need it.
You don't need that.
I don't crave sweetness. I crave a bit of chocolate from time to time.
What you want to do though is you want to strike a balance. You don't want to end up cutting too much sugar out of your diet, and you don't want to cut too much fat out of your diet. You have to have a balance of the two. I was recently watching a program called Horizon.
Yeah.
Right, and they took two twins, and they each went on a diet for a month. One went sugar rich, wasn't allowed fat. The other one went fat rich, wasn't allowed sugar. And at the end of it,
They both were fat.
no, they both lost weight. But the guy who was eating fat, he lost weight from losing just fat, but he also lost 25% of the weight he lost was muscle had gone because his body started converting muscle into gluten because it wasn't getting the sugar.
Yeah.
So you can't do
Glucose.
that. Glucose.
Yeah.
Right? And then the guy who was eating all the sugar, I can't quite remember him because I was surprised about the guy with the eating the fat. He lost weight as well, but short story is, I'm getting to this.
It has to be balanced.
It has to be balanced because the guy who was eating all the fat ended up being really close to being diabetic
Yeah.
in a month.
Right. So here's this is where I'm headed with this. Basically, is I completely agree. Right. What caught me out was if I sat down at mealtime. Right. Portion control. This is what's killing me. Right. I sat down and I thought, right, I'm going to have to make my dinner, my lunch, or whatever it was. So I put on 3 pieces of chicken breast and sprinkled some tandoori spices over it. And I chopped up 2 potatoes and just put them into the roasting tin as well. And I used practically 0 oil, so it was just all dry roasted. So I thought 2 spuds and 3 chicken breasts. And I ate that for my dinner. That rocked in at 800 or 900 calories on its own and completely busted my day. And
Why would that bust your day though? Because or you're not. What you didn't
do you
actually.
want to know?
You
I didn't actually tell you what the
us.
target was. The machine tells me that my target is 1,580 calories per day. The average that you take in as an adult man is 2,500. I lead quite a sedentary life because we're sitting so much in front of the computers at the moment. So maybe for me that might be about 2,000.
Yeah,
or
so
something like
it
that.
depends on
but
how
it
much
says
energy you're
it
burning
set
in
my
a day.
target at 1,580 calories. So,
That'd
pardon
be-
me,
that'd-
300 calories in the morning, then suddenly 800 calories in one meal. Bang.
That
And
would be about right because I went through my own little phase of losing weight a few years back, and I figured that if I was allowed to eat 2,500 to stay pretty much at the level I was, 1500 was my target
Yeah.
for being able to lose weight.
Yeah.
I find it difficult. I have found it difficult. Today, though, I've had a breakthrough. Today was easier. Today has been easier than the other days. What made the difference, though, was actually counting the calories. But I'm not only counting calories, I'm also watching sugar, salt, everything else. I'm on what I'm calling the instinct diet.
Right.
I'm trying to tune into my instincts, because my instincts tell me that ready meals are fucking horrendous for you.
They are.
Okay? My instincts are telling me that if I stop using the microwave and start just roasting or or lightly frying or grilling or toasting and eat real basic foods, not processed foods, that I could probably afford to eat a little bit more of that, because my body is not getting filled with all sorts of shit.
You probably will eat less, because again, on this same show, they took some rats and they were doing an experiment, and the guy was feeding rats sugary diet, and they would eat, but not over the top.
Yeah.
They would eat until their body said, okay, you've had enough, stop eating. And he fed rats fatty foods, and they would eat until their body said, yeah, stop eating, you've had enough. So at either end of the spectrum, they were stopping and they weren't getting too overweight. Then he combined the two and he started feeding the rats, what was it? It's like a cake
Yeah.
type thing. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Like
It
a
was-
flapjack or something.
it
isn't
wasn't carrot cake,
Yeah.
it was something like that, which was a 50-50 mix of sugar and fat right down the middle,
Yeah.
and they just couldn't stop,
Yeah.
because
That's-
their mind was just overwhelmed with how great this is. And
Getting two things I really, really want.
Yeah.
The brain wasn't getting the signals to say, because it didn't know how to handle it.
Chinese food does that. to me.
MSG.
Chinese food did that to me. I had
Yeah.
Chinese food, I think it was last weekend.
Yeah.
I had this massive plate of Chinese. I haven't had one in about 6 months, and I had this big massive plate of chicken fried rice,
I can't stop.
chips, curry sauce, all on it went, massive, boom, 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 boom. Half an hour later, I could eat something.
Yeah.
Chinese food
yeah.
is ridiculous for doing
It's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I would eat it and then I can't stop. So I'm on this instinct diet. I'm trying my best at this stage just to wean myself off. Chocolate, I'm struggling a little bit with, because my other half loves chocolate. And
Yeah, but even
she's-
if you're
she's
allowing yourself
entitled
it
to
once
so.
in a while.
Well, this is what I'm doing. Just a tiny.
I love
tiny
that
bit
the
of
other
that.
half, but because I was off chocolate, I didn't eat chocolate at all. And then I met Anna, and she liked little chocolate treats.
Yeah.
So then I started getting little chocolate treats. And I ended up hooked on chocolate, and she's the one that doesn't eat chocolate now. And I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
oh, but I didn't eat chocolate before I met you. I don't eat chocolate. Do you want to split this bar of chocolate? No.
The other issue is eating out. Now we can't really afford to eat out very much, to be honest with ourselves and the two kiddies. It's quite expensive to do it. The most we'd maybe get is a McDonald's, and people going McDonald's. But what I find in McDonald's is they've actually been quite helpful, because I can get a Big Mac without the bread. And they'll actually put all the contents of a Big Mac onto a little tray for me now, if I'm doing that. So I don't feel quite so bad about that, because a big heap of the calories is actually in the bread. So anyway, my circumstances are, at the moment, I don't get an awful lot of time for exercise, because we're very much tied down at the moment. We have a lot of things that we're working on the website and everything else. 2, I'm struggling with cravings, but I am trying to do my best on that. But 3, I am losing weight. I am losing
you are
weight.
getting there.
And I feel...
But are you losing weight? Sounds like you cheated it.
I took my clothes off,
If
yeah.
I wear loads of clothes this time and I weigh myself, next time I weigh myself
we
naked,
will know next week.
I'll be a
No,
success.
I do know that I'm losing weight, because I've lost about a kilo almost this week. The thing is,
Lloyd.
I feel better. I was trying to put it into terms. I feel tighter, but it's not tighter in a bad sense.
It's not tighter until you ate too much and you're tight in your skin.
No. I don't feel tight that way, but I feel tighter. For some reason, I even feel stronger. I don't know what it is. I feel stronger. I feel tighter. I don't feel as bloated as what I have done over the last few
Here's
months.
something I think you've laughed at me for saying once before. With you being a heavier guy,
Yeah.
every day of the week you're walking around with that weight on you.
Yeah.
So your muscles have to grow to deal with that weight, to have the strength to actually do that.
I think it's true.
Maybe.
It
maybe.
makes sense. If
think
you
it's true.
imagine walking around with bags of sugar strapped to your arms every day of your life for a year,
Usually when
your arms will get stronger.
Usually when you're bigger, your rate of weight loss is higher than when you start to approach your normal.
But I also think that there's shit in a junk diet, which is what I had, that ultimately makes you feel like shit.
There's a lot of bleeping to do here.
And when you start to get that crap out of your system, and I'm sure after a week, a dietitian's maybe sitting there saying, it doesn't come out after a week, or maybe a dietitian's there sitting going, do you know what, Warren? You're right.
You're essentially on a system purge.
The only other thing I'm doing is I'm taking a little Yakult probiotics.
Bacteria things.
Yeah. I don't know if they do any good or not, but I bought a pack for a week, so I'm going to just stick it out for a week, just to try and... It tastes nice anyway. It adds about 40 calories to my day. I'm just going to do it anyway. A lot of people say it's nonsense. I was with a doctor recently who was saying, well, they're not the best, but the reason you need probiotics... Because I was wondering, why do we not have probiotics in our normal diets? And the reason is... In this day of junk food and everything else, we don't eat what we used to eat. And what in other parts of the world, like Romania and Germany and stuff like that, they eat fermented things.
Right, where these bacteria will be.
Where these bacteria and whatnot will grow.
What do you mean by
like
fermented
sauerkrauts and kimchis and things like that.
So is this like that rotted Scandinavian fish?
No.
Wait a minute. I eat pickles. Do I get it in that?
No.
No,
because they pasteurize it. You see, all that stuff, anything you buy in a jar or anything else, they kill probably what is all the good stuff that we would normally take in.
I suppose if you look at it, it's been boiled, processed, chomped up, whatever you like.
So anyway, that's Fit Club. The big test now will be to see next week. So I'm at 113 point. I think it's 113.8, okay? So we'll see next week.
You're going to have to be more accurate with this.
I will be more accurate. 113.8. Next week, I would like to be at 113 dead, if possible. Maybe not.
Again,
but
it's an
so long as it's going down...
You're happy.
And so long as these cravings and things like that start to subside a bit, and I start to get, more on top of it, both mentally... Physically, I'm starting to feel okay, actually, but mentally, it's been a struggle. But if it all starts to pan out, great. If not, I'm just going to keep doing my little bits of research, and I'll feed back to you guys. Big congratulations to everybody else that's sticking with Fit Club. We're seeing the results coming in on the Fit Club thread on Beasts of War. Keep at it, guys. Keep at it. We can all do this. We can absolutely do this. And you're still trying to go off the cigarettes, are you?
Yeah, I picked up an e-cigarette, but I've had to send it off with the missus recently, so I'm on the normal smokes at the moment.
In other words, Justin's making a piss poor job of it.
Yeah, he's making a really poor
I'll admit
job.
that I'm making a piss poor job of it, freely.
Okay.
Next month I'll get another one.
On the subject of my sedentary life, the most energetic I've got recently was my terrain building episode of epicness with
that
James.
was fun.
We've just put it out this week. It was myself and James basically just emptied out a box of sprues from Dead Zone for the terrain, and we built something completely spur of the moment. We didn't know what we were going to build.
Yes, but you did have one little extra added in, which was the 2 ruined spruce.
Yes, we had a couple of extras that hadn't been seen before, and we built this awesome sniper tower. It was a building with a big ass sniper tower on it.
It looks like a destroyed security centre.
Yes. It looks like a Warren building. That's what it looks like. So, hopefully that piece is going to make it over here, and we're doing our best to get James over to film the battle report of epicness that we promised before he goes off and starts his new job in Games Workshop. In our final piece of news, we're going to talk a bit about the website updates. We may have, at this stage, started to change the website. We have a lot of plans going forward of what we want to do to the website. This is stuff that had been put on hold basically for the last 2 years as we were working with the whole Tabletop Nation stuff and everything else. But now we're back, we're completely focused on it. It all starts with that top band where we're now replacing that and replacing the navigation and changing how you would navigate Beasts of War.
So we're changing the base route navigation, is what you're saying.
Yes, to make it easier for you to skip around Beasts of War, looking at the games you like and looking at the games we like. What we've discovered is over the course of the past 5 years, we have nearly 20,000 pieces of content on Beasts of War.
Really, that
Yeah,
many?
in terms of news and articles and
Wow.
videos, we obviously don't have 20,000 videos, but
No, I think it's around
we
the
have
2,500
a
mark.
lot of content around Beasts of
The
War.
problem is it's. I was going to swear.
Yeah.
but I'm
So
not.
it's okay, gotta head up.
It's easy to navigate.
Yes, it's really hard to find this content.
Yeah. So what we're doing is Beasts of War is going to gradually start turning into a series of locations. Okay, so you go into Beasts of War, and we have our main locations, what we call our home pages. We have our home page, which gives you your general overview of what's happening on that day.
So a main feed of what's been happening in that.
If you want to look deeper, you can go into the sci-fi homepage,
Okay.
or the fantasy homepage, or the pulp, punk, horror, and weird homepage, or the historical homepage. And that will collate stuff into there. And there'll be articles and stuff in there that won't necessarily make it to the homepage itself. So if you're into your sci-fi, go in there, and it'll all be about sci-fi wargaming, board gaming, card gaming, video gaming, books, movies, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
because the homepage is really just, it is the start page.
Yeah.
You know, if you really want to get all the content, you do have to explore a little bit.
As well as that, whenever you go over the sci-fi bit, we also have all the games broken down. And the idea is this is where you guys come in with the community-generated content. What we're going to be building over the next few weeks and months is the ability for you guys to add in your own content and stuff like that to Beasts of War. So if you go into sci-fi, Warhammer 40k, in there will be opportunities. If you're a backstager, you'll have this many opportunities. If you're a member, you'll have this many opportunities. But there'll be opportunities there for you to add in your own
So
content
all your
and
own
stuff.
little work in progresses, what happened at my latest
All
battle
kinds
report.
of things. We're looking at all kinds of things. So rather than sit on all this and try and build it all as one grand update, which, to be fair, we wouldn't be able to roll out until Christmas. We're just going to do it as we go along. Okay, so we're starting with the header, and then we're going into the game hubs, and we're going to start adding in all the bits and pieces of functionality. The site will start to look a little bit disjointed as new design starts to clash a little bit with old design, but we feel that it's better to work with you guys, putting these bits of functionality out, watching how you use it, listen to the feedback, and then just fix and tweak and improve things as we go along. And we're hoping to get to the stage where we're pushing out a new piece of functionality every couple of weeks, and between now and the end of the year. And gradually, we'll build it into almost like an epic database.
So in other words,
of our gaming, where lots of little communities get together to form one large epic community.
In other words, what, Justin?
in other words, if you're looking at this at the end of this year, Beasts of War will be a completely different site to what it is today.
It'll not be completely different. It'll just be
better.
We hope it'll just be better.
Well,
there'll be more going on. There will always be some games where we have a little hub for the game where there's not very much going on.
It's not a case.
But it's about we don't feel that any game should die. So, for example, AT-43 might go in there. Because there maybe are still people out there that are playing AT-43.
Guaranteed.
You know? So come along and we will create you a hub where you can get together and you can post bits and pieces to try and keep the games alive that you like.
Yeah.
You
Well,
like
I'm actually
playing.
seeing one here that is apparently dead, which might go into it. Heroescape.
Yes, Heroescape will
Because
go
I
into
remember
it.
at GrumpyCon there was a big spread of
Oh
tables
no,
with
that's
people
dead.
playing on it.
It's dead.
Right.
Anyway, it's we'll see
That's
how it
okay.
goes. Okay, all of this is made possible because of the Backstagers. Tomorrow morning we have our show, which is the Weekender XLBS, which is it's like a whole other episode of this show. It doesn't include what you've just seen. It's just an entirely extended from this point on episode. Backstage is our kind of subscription service where you can sign up and you get access to some extra content and some extra features and things like
Free
that.
downloads and stuff.
Free downloads. But it's also your way to support the community here at Beasts of War. And it's what goes towards paying all the bills for servers and everything else. So if you fancy getting involved, and if you fancy trying out some of the kind of the beta tests of some of the stuff that we're going to be doing as well, why not hop on over to Backstage? Because in XLBS this week, we're going to be talking about what gaming we've been doing this week. We're going to be talking about our mega Salute meetup on the Friday night before Salute. And I'm going to be taking out my Warlord Titan to talk about Mechanicum style repairs and kind of my first steps back towards Warhammer 40k. Anyway, we'd be more than happy, we'd be delighted to see you in Backstage and get you to watch the XLBS with us. But until next week, thank you for watching. We've had a great time.